Now
Nope,
you got me.
don't look at each other.
Hello, friends, readers, and book lovers. My name is Elizabeth, and I'm the marketing manager here at Schuler Books.
And I'm Amy. I'm one of the buyers.
And today we are doing a 4-part series on book clubs. And we're going to start with this is part 1, how to start a book club.
How to start a book club.
Yes.
We're both in book clubs.
Yes.
And they come out around a lot of different ways.
Yes. And I think now people are looking for ways to build community.
Mm-hmm.
And a book club is a great way to build a community or to strengthen a community that you're already in.
It's also a great way to meet new people or to strengthen relationships with people that you maybe know, like tangentially or just through someone else.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. And I think we're going to approach this as you're thinking about, hey, I think a book club is exciting and fun, and I'm willing to put in the work to start it.
Mm-hmm.
How do I do that?
Mm-hmm.
There is also the option of you can go find a book club to join that's
Right.
maybe already running.
Yes.
But that's not what we're going to do today.
Yep. More of the I would like to put in some planning and create something new.
Yep,
Mm-hmm.
absolutely. Okay, so Amy, can you tell me about how you have maybe gotten to the book clubs that you've gotten to first?
Yes, so I've been in a number of different book clubs. Sometimes they come together with one person knows like 3 people, and then those 3 people invite another person, and then those people, and it sort of becomes a group of friends that maybe didn't know each other before. I'm also in a book club where we all worked together here at Schuler Books, and so obviously we know we're all book lovers and we all get along. And so that was a group of, we're already friends, and this gives us an excuse to get together every month.
Yeah.
So I've done both of those different ways. I know that you just started a book club.
I just started a book club. So I looked around at my friends and I said, hey, I work at a bookstore and I love to read books. And a bunch of my friends were like, hey, we love to read books, but we don't do it as much as we want to.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought, perfect, we're going to start a book club.
Mm-hmm.
And what I did is I looked around my friends and I kind of handpicked a few. I reached out to them and I said, hey, I'm interested in this idea. Are you interested? If you are, will you fill out this little survey, like asking some questions about what you want out of a book club and kind of setting up some expectations, even from that stage of saying, this is what I think a book club should be, and are you in for that or not? And if they said no, totally fine.
No hard feelings.
No hard feelings. I was not going to be mad about that. But if they were in for it, I said, great, we're going to do like a trial starter meeting. And if you have a friend that would also be interested in, feel free to bring them along too. And so that's how my book club got started. But
do you have a sense, like numbers wise, like if you are setting out to start a book club, like what size group to aim for, or what works best or what doesn't?
Yeah, I think you need enough people to have an interesting conversation and not too many people that people feel lost in a crowd. And I think that number might be different for different groups.
Yeah.
Mine is going to land around 10 people.
Okay.
And I think that's good for me.
Yep.
I think I like, that's maybe on the bigger end of what I would recommend. But there are a few people that are maybe a little less committed than others, or might have things come up on a random week. That's totally fine also. But that, to me, having that 10 means that we're probably always going to have a consistent, like, 6 or 7.
And I think that's
there.
a sweet spot. In the ones that I've been in, if you have fewer than 5 people, if there's only 4 people there, like you said, it's hard to have a really good, meaningful discussion. You can, it's possible, but if you don't have 5 or more, my difficulty has been in groups where we got bigger than 7 and just scheduling was a nightmare. Scheduling with 7 adults in this day and age was just a nightmare. And so some of that I think will come in when you're talking about setting up those guidelines ahead of time of like, are we meeting like the second Thursday of every month and it's just penciled in, or are you determining at each meeting what is the next date that works for you?
Right.
So scheduling can be a problem, but I think if you are also okay with, we have 10 people generally, but only 6 or 7 show up on a given month, that's okay too.
Yeah. So let's talk about expectations.
Yes.
How do you set up expectations, and what expectations should we be thinking through when we're starting our book club?
I think you need to set the expectation of, and I know that we're going to talk about this a little bit later about how you're picking the books. I think you need the expectation of just scheduling and what the commitment level is. You know, maybe you set the expectation that you do not have to commit to every month.
Yeah.
Show up when you can. But if you want to set the expectation that everyone's going to be there for a consistent group, then you need to work that out. I think you need to set expectations of just what are you going to read? Like, do you have a specific focus for this book club? Is it going to change? I think you also need expectations about, like, what if someone is just really not interested in the selection of a given month or meeting? Or what is the expectation for people to have finished the book? Is it okay for people to come having not finished the book? You know, can they come but just expect spoilers? Like,
Right.
setting up those expectations for, so because sometimes you just don't get through the book.
Yeah.
Because
sure.
you want to or because you don't want to.
Yeah.
So
for an example, here's the expectations I set for my group.
Mhm.
I sent out a survey right at the beginning, which might feel like overkill for some, but my friends appreciated it. They
Yep.
said, we know what we're getting into because you put out this survey and it was
Mhm.
very clear. And in it, I said, we are going to read this book. There are some book clubs that are just social clubs and they pretend to be book clubs. That's maybe not giving them enough credit, but I was very specific about, I want to read the book. And so this is going to be an actively reading book club, and you need to be okay with that. And the way that I kind of set up like finishing the book expectations is I said, by committing to this book club, you're committing to making your best effort to show up to every meeting, with the knowledge that sickness and kid issues might hinder that.
Yep.
And that you're making every effort to read the book.
Yep.
Now, I think saying you have to read the book, you have to finish, you have to show up is a little harsh. But saying we're going to make our best effort to that, to me, still set that expectation, but with a little layer of grace at the bottom.
Yeah.
And then the final thing I did was I set myself up as the facilitator and guide of the group. And I said, I am really committed to this and I'm going to make sure this happens and I'm going to make sure we have a book to read and all of those things. But if you want to actively participate in more ways for this club, just let me know. If you want to host sometimes, if you have book recommendations you want to throw in the pot, whatever, I welcome that. I'm not going to shut that down. But just know that I'm the one that committing for myself to making this happen.
Yes.
So
yeah, and I think that you want to get you definitely want to get buy-in from anybody who's participating, so they don't feel like it's just Elizabeth's book club,
right?
And we're just showing up to humor Elizabeth.
Yeah.
I know that there are some book clubs where they rotate, and every month the person who is hosting is the one who picks the book and serves as facilitator. There are others that sort of rotate through hosting, but they all choose the book, you know, communally. Some book clubs pick their book for the whole year, like 12 months worth, and then they're committed to that. As a mood reader, that stresses me out. But I like the idea of being able to plan ahead a little bit, especially if you're going to be getting books. Another expectation would be, are you only picking books that have just come out? Right. You know, or are you picking books that are accessible at the library on audiobook in different formats, just for accessibility? So one of the book clubs that I'm in, we say, you know, we are committed to picking books that are available on Libby or Hoopla, because a lot of us like to listen to audiobooks and we want to make sure it's accessible. Even though we are all book people and we like buying books, we don't necessarily want to buy every single book for book club.
Yeah. So I made kind of like a general rule for myself that we were going to pick books that were a year old or older for that reason too. So you could go out and buy it, but if you go out and buy it, maybe there's a paperback version available, or that increases the chances that it's at the library. And that might not be the choice your book club wants to make. Maybe your book club is full of like voracious readers, and so you're only going to pick brand new titles because that's how you guarantee that nobody's read it.
That's another guideline. Are you only picking books that nobody has read?
Yeah.
Because that I've had both ways. In one book club, someone would come and say, I just read this book, it was so good, and someone else is like, well, we should read that for book club. You know, and if your group is okay with that, that's fine. And especially if you have a group of people who are different levels of readers, like some people who are reading 3 books a week and some people who are reading 3 books a year. It's going to be hard, but not impossible, to find books that nobody has read. There are so many books There's so many books.
Yeah.
You can find a book that nobody has read.
Right.
So in another book club, we do have the rule that if someone's read it,
it's off the table.
It's off the table.
You can read that in your own time.
Yep.
I think the overarching theme I'm feeling here is just communicate.
Yes.
Like communication is key here. Communicate early and
Mhm.
communicate specifically.
Mhm.
And then like this is how you also do your future self a favor.
Yes.
Because if you set expectations clearly at the beginning, it's easier later on. Where if you don't set them, you might feel frustrated and you don't know how to fix it.
Mhm.
So,
Mhm.
all right. And then I think the last step to starting a book club is just get started.
Well, we didn't talk specifically about how to pick our books.
Oh, how to pick our books.
Yes.
Oh, yes. Okay. So you mentioned a few options. So there are options of you could rotate between your book club members. Everybody gets a
Mhm.
month and they get to pick the book.
Mhm.
And
then there's no argument. There's no
right. They
whatever.
just
It's
pick
just
the book.
this is what I want to read and this is what we're reading.
Yes.
Yep.
The option that I have started with is I present 4 options that
Mhm.
either I have found or one of my book club members has found, but there are 4 options and then everybody gets to vote.
Mhm.
And whichever one gets the most votes
Mhm.
gets it.
Mhm.
Um,
I've also been in a book club where we sort of rotated by month, like we're going to read a nonfiction or a fiction or a classic. And then knowing that that's the next one, we bring suggestions and then sort of vote as a group, but with a little bit more focus.
yeah.
And that would again come with the expectations that you're setting for the book club. Like, are we only reading current fiction? Are we rotating genres?
Right.
Are we doing nonfiction? Because not everybody is into that. Are we
Right.
doing only nonfiction? You know,
Or maybe you want to like not quite like that, but say we only want to read books by women, or we
Mhm.
only want to read books by people of color, or
Mhm.
some other category that might help guide
Yep.
your choices.
Yep. And I think that's one of the things that I like the best about being in a book club is it pushes me to read, not even necessarily outside of my comfort zone, but to pick up things that I might not just pick up for my own casual reading.
Right.
It gives a little bit of purpose and sense of direction
Yeah.
to my
Yeah.
reading.
I also think if none of those ideas you liked, or if you've been in a book club a while and you need like a new option, maybe going on Storygraph and finding one of the reading challenges, and maybe
Mhm.
like you use the reading challenge to guide your book
Mhm.
club picks for a year. Or maybe we're gonna find a literary award and we're gonna try to read so many books that have won that literary award
like
or
that.
something like that.
Yeah.
There are so many options of
Yeah.
how to choose books.
I mean, if you participate in our summer reading program for adults,
Mhm.
that bingo sheet gives you lots of prompts.
Right. Yeah, you could
And
do
just
it that
come
way.
up with a prompt.
I
for-
think there's also a world where you could have a book club where not everybody reads the same book.
Oh yes, nope. I've done
So-
that as well. One of my book clubs, it used to be every December for our holiday gathering, everybody would pick a different book and come and give like a book report on it,
Fun.
which is kind of fun
Yeah.
too. It's a little bit different. I wouldn't want to do that personally. I wouldn't want to do that every month
yeah.
because part of what I like about being in a book club is reading the same book as somebody and getting to talk about it.
Yeah.
Because working in the book world, we read so many books, but we don't always get to talk about them with other
Right.
people. But yeah, that's a fun.
I also heard of one where they had like 12 prompts, one for each month, and you just had to pick a book that fit into that prompt,
Mhm.
but you could pick any book you wanted.
Mhm.
And then you kind of came back with your book and talked about how it fit into that prompt.
I like that.
So.
That is very interesting.
All right. And then you get started.
And then you get started
And-
and you understand that there will be bumps and the membership will change and shift a little
Yeah.
bit at the beginning while you sort of settle
Figure it
in.
out. Yeah.
Yeah.
And you adjust as necessary.
Yeah. But it's so much fun.
So much fun.
As people who love to talk about books, we highly encourage you to find some people to talk about books with.
Yes. Join a book club.
Yes.
And join us for part 2, where we talk about now you're in a book club. What do you do then?
Now what? We'll see you next time.